Hello. I look so bright with this top on. Oh my god. Everything looks so weird, and then this is like in your face. I don't usually wear colours like this. This is like the only bright colour I own. I was like, I'll keep it on. I'll keep it on for stream, even though it looks a bit odd. Kind of match these guys though. But yes, we are here. I'm pretty sure that drops are on. Let me close Steam. I don't know why that's open. Let me just double check. I have said drops are on, but I want to make sure they're actually on. Because I imagine Twitch would... Yes, there they are. Okay. Let me go over to PALIA's site. I want to get like a message pinned on the chat just to make sure if anyone... Wait, there's no like thing for it. I was gonna like pin the thing to do with drops, but there isn't one. They haven't put anything out there about it. That's odd. There's nothing about drops on the website. Unless I'm just not looking at the right thing. I was gonna put the link to the site, but there is not one. Hello! Afternoon! I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Welcome in. I hope your weekend was good. I went out, touched grass. Not yesterday, but on Saturday I did. I'm just trying to find a link to sort of... Hello? We just started stream like 8 minutes. Oh my god. Thank you so much. You're so kind. Oh my god. You do not have to keep doing this. You do this every month. This is ridiculous. But thank you so much for the gifted. I appreciate it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I actually owe it to you guys though. I got my first payout the other day. I got my first payout. So it was a little payout. And I was like, I actually earned something. I have something to show for it. You help me a lot with the game. Do I? I'm terrible with advice. Hopefully if I ever helped you with anything, then I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you again. I really do appreciate it. Honestly, just watching the stream is enough for me though. But I do appreciate the gifted though. Thank you. I'm trying to find a link to the PALIA site for the drops so that I can let people know when they come in. Like, because some people don't quite know how drops work, and I'm like, can't find one. It doesn't exist. So I think I might have to just put the old Twitch drops on because I can't find one that shows it. So I'll have to just do that one. It's fine. If we find one, I'll change it. But hide myself. There we go. All done. I just wanted to put something because sometimes people come in the stream and they're like, oh, how do drops work? And I'm like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, how do I like help with that? I'm terrible. I literally have no idea. I'm like, you just watch the stream, but you have to connect your account. You have to connect your account. Otherwise, you're watching me for no reason. Like, I don't know why you'd want to do that. I wouldn't do that if I was you. But, I mean, if I go onto Twitch and have a look, if it gives me anything on here. I mean, if I go to drops, where is it? Viewer rewards? Drops. It's definitely turned on. And it is showing up on my stream. However, there's just no link for it. Found it! I found it. Uh-oh. Okay, well, okay, we will... Hello! Welcome in! Okay, today's stream is like, I'm getting everything thrown at me all at once. Welcome in. Hello. I hope you guys had a good stream. Let me drop that in there for you guys to read. We are about to change the pinned message because I did just find the correct link. So ignore that for now. If anyone is curious about drops, I apologize. It's the wrong link. Paste. That is the correct one. We got it. Okay. And hide for myself so I can see you guys in chat. Hello. Hey, how's it going? It's going good. How's your day going? What are you guys streaming? We playing PALIA? Fortnite? Why am I saying Fortnite? I've got Fortnite in my brain. Were you guys playing PALIA? And if you were, what were you doing? What were we doing? I have quests and things to do today. So we are currently going to be doing some quests and running around frantically looking like a headless chicken trying to find the plushies that I don't have yet. Hello! How is everyone doing? I hope everyone had a good weekend. I wish I could show you guys. I have a tan line on my arm to prove I was outside all day on Saturday, but stream doesn't pick up on it. So I look like I'm lying, but I'm not. Promised I left the house. That's what I do every stream. Run around like a headless chicken. I'm always doing that. We recently, though, have actually found... We've actually got quite a few plushies recently. I don't know how. We got like, I think... Is it like 4 or 5? We were quite lucky. I've been trying to make money in the game and then buy Zeki coins just so I can get plushies because I'm a little bit like... I'm like, I want them. I really, really want them. So we got 1 plushie at least per every lot of Zeki coins. I buy like 15 and I typically get one. But now we have frogs that we have to get. So I'll probably do that today as well. But I haven't done much with the new update yet. We streamed on Thursday, which I don't normally do. Normally I miss Thursday and we stream on Friday. But I don't know. We streamed just so I could play the new update. Hype chest. Let me open it. It's a cute little doggy emote. Nice. But yeah, I only streamed last time was Thursday, so I haven't played much. I didn't play over the weekend or anything, so this update's still brand new to me. Beheading 5 chickens is actually pretty hectic. I don't know. Right now I'm in game, but it's not on the screen yet. But I haven't done any of the quests. I think we just did. What did we do? I think we did some relic stuff. I don't know what we did. I can't remember what we did last stream. I genuinely haven't got a clue. I don't remember what we did. I'm lost. I know it's probably involving plushies or something. Yeah, I have no idea. But today we'll get like loads of stuff done. So at least this week we'll have loads to do. Let me get the game up for you guys and we can jump in. Hopefully it loads. Hopefully it loads. There we go. Okay. My chair is a bit high up. Like that's okay. It's too high up. My arms were like up here. Like okay. So we have not played, which means I haven't watered my plants. Typical, right? They're still growing. These plants have been thirsty all weekend. And then I'm gonna let all of these actually grow, and then we're gonna like harvest them all at the same time so I can put a full garden of plants down because... Oh. It turned 6 AM. Great timing, Casey. Great timing. Yeah, I have not been a good gardener. I got really good at looking after my plants and making them into like jams and things. And then the Elderwood happened. And unfortunately, I just abandoned them all. It's a really bad habit. I'm not gonna lie. It's a really bad habit. But, you know, I couldn't help myself. I was addicted to the Elderwood, and now I think the addiction has worn down a little bit. I think I'm not as, like, I must be there all the time. I like to be there all the time. I'm not gonna lie. I do like to be there all the time. But I think we can spend a little bit of time not there. So... we'll see. I have loads of little things we should probably go do, which includes making seeds and things to sell because I don't... we have 400k. Let me get the login reward. Hang on. I just remembered. We have login rewards, right? I'm going to the wrong place. There we go. Yeah, we have not got that much money. I wouldn't say it's like not enough, but it's just like, oh, wait, let's see. Oh, there's a chest right here. Apple seeds. Apple seeds. We don't have any apple seeds. I should go make apple seeds before we actually try and make anything out of them. I should probably... Oh, I forgot about this. This is what we spent a lot of last stream doing now that I remember. Trying to get the ducky. We got it in the end. We got it in the end. We need apple... Wait, do I have apple seeds in the maker? That would be a good shout. Let's check. I don't think I do, but... No. Okay, we probably could do it in this one. Wait. Where are all the apples? Oh, they're there. Okay, and then we can put more in this one. And another one in here. Just so that we have them. Because I feel like if I don't have them, what am I going to make money out of, right? I have one apple left. I have one apple. Okay, we need to start making seeds and jams and everything in between because this is ridiculous. I have 400k. We had 1 million. Okay, we made all of the money from the frogs. When the frog glitch was a thing, I made all the money I could. And we did it like, I think 4 times and I spent loads of it. I just wish I'd have actually used it for Zeki coins instead of housing things. We bought loads of like rooms and gazebos and things, as you can see back there. And instead of spending it on Zeki coins, I spent all the money on that, which I regret. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of regret. As much as I feel like it was worth it, I kind of have a regret for it because I feel like I could have spent it on something better, like Zeki coins. So I'm a little bit annoyed. Oh, we have this as well. How much of these do I actually have? I don't need any of it. Okay. So we can just pretty much sell all this extra stuff and put more in. I have loads of meat, I think. Let's see. Yes. Loads. Okay, let's get that going. We're gonna get all this going again. I didn't do much with any of this because I didn't need to. But now we have to again. Which is fine. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I don't mind. But let's actually go sell it to Zeki as well because I'll get the money quicker that way. We also need to open these. Let's do that now. Oh, I had that one. Damn it. Wait. I don't think I had that one. We might have got a new sticker. We might have just got a new sticker, which is nice. No, we didn't. We already had it. It's okay though. It's okay. I'm sorry, little guy. I don't hate you. I just like, I have like, I think 3 of you already. And I want the other ones. Wait, let's see. How many of them do I actually have? Yeah, I have 4 of these now. Like, I'm sorry, Gerard. You're just not the cutest one. I want the mushroom ones so bad. And I do have some of them now. Like, I have this guy. But you know, there's like other ones I just would rather have than this guy. And he kind of reminds me of Cassian. And I'm kind of like not at that part in the game yet where I could be like, yeah, I like Cassian. I haven't gotten to know him yet. I haven't gotten to know him yet. So I can't really say that. Anyway, let's go and pick all of these because I now realize that is a thing. We only discovered, not discovered, but I didn't think to put these down for like 2 years. Okay, I've had them for like a year or 2 and I haven't been using them. The seed one that's in my greenhouse, I have been using for like a couple of months now, but even then I've had that one for so long as well. This one I put down as soon as, nice. As soon as I got it. So these ones, yeah, I don't need that. I don't know what the eggs are for. I genuinely don't know what we do with them. Do we use them in recipes or do we just eat them? I have no idea. And I also just don't really need slowdown arrows because they're kind of useless. Kind of useless. So let's see. We're going to go and sell these to Zeki. And then depending on how much money we have, we might buy coins in this stream. Typically, I would have done it like 3 times a stream because I stream for about 3 hours. So we do it like every single black market. Black market? Undergrounds? I don't know. Whenever we do hot pot. Because I've been trying to do hot pot and then buy Zeki coins and do the prize wheel and everything like 3 times a stream, but it kind of just depends on how much money I have. Like, we have 400k, we can definitely do it, and I think I should. It's Monday, we probably should, but maybe only once. Maybe just towards the end of the stream. We'll see. Like, 400k isn't terrible. I just feel like it could be a lot better. You know? I feel like it could be better. Okay, I don't think we have anything at home that I need to go get. So I think we will just start doing the cave thing. We don't have anything to... Oh wait, I didn't sell my glowworms. I don't need the glowworms. I have like 3 stacks of them. I'm just not too... we're not fishing too much right now. So like, I am kind of just like not bothered about the glowworms too much. I kind of keep like 3 stacks of them, like this. I sell the rest. It makes you money. Makes you like, what is that, 3,000? Like 2 stacks? We're selling it. I'd rather sell it. So we got rid of that. Let's go to the cave. Is the cave the thing at the back of the stables? I feel like it looks like it would be a cave. I'm hoping that we can travel through that now, but that would be wishful thinking, right? I think that would be wishful thinking. But that was what I was thinking would happen. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought, yeah, we're gonna be able to fast travel through that, or like not even fast travel, but just like walk through. And honestly, we haven't been able to do that, so it's kind of a little bit annoying. Also, I think my these things on the compass are broken because there's just so many of them, and I just feel like one of them says it's like 1,000. That one, 16,000. Is that back in Kilmer or something? Because that just feels kind of mad. Lost and found. Adventure on the horizon. So they are both here. Like this one is through here. We also need... I need to do... Okay, so this stream. We need to try and do hot pot, Zeki coins, and find the piles because... I need to be doing the piles. I've nearly finished the... I've nearly finished all the relics and stuff, so... We gotta get those done. And that means that we'll have so much more fun trying to, like, resource hunt and things. It'll be so much easier to do. So I need to get that done. Wait, which one is this? Is this the cave one? Is the cave over here? Oh. I did not expect this to be the cave. Okay. Okay, let's go do it. Let's go see. I thought it was going to be the thing in the back of the stables. Oh, it's like a full-on situation. Oh. Is he gonna say what I think he's gonna say? Oh my god! I didn't actually expect that to be a thing. Okay. Boy, calm down. I was gonna say shucks. No, he wasn't. It's a bad word. Maybe for like 5. Isn't he like 5? He's like what, 10 maybe. You're as sneaky as you think you are on it. I had a feeling that you were up to something, so I decided to follow you. You know you're not supposed to go off on your own and get into dangerous situations. I can't believe you told Casey about this place before your own brother. I'm sure he has his reasons. Is he a certified adventurer? Yes. An adventurer should always be the first to know when there's a new area to explore. I probably should have told Niall first, but I guess I got too excited, sorry. Oh. You gotta see this. Okay, what are we looking at? Where'd they go? Why did they just like... I hate when they just like disappear in front of your eyes. Kinda bugs me a little bit. Where are we going? This way? There's a treasure chest. Wait. Why is there like a bundle situation going on? This better not be like a bundle situation. Why is there a bundle thing over there? I'm going to assume I need to go this way. Whoa. What? Oh, I'm fine. Why did why did it spawn me back up there? What? What is going on? Okay. What do I need to find? That way. Oh! There's like actual materials and stuff in here though. Hang on. This is big. How big is this? Where are we on the map? Wait, it shows me the map, but I do not see myself on it. Weird. I kind of wish these inside places had, like little maps themselves. But they don't seem to. Sacred flower. Nice. Okay, let's go to Arnie. He's over here. I don't need materials right now. We'll get them after. That looks like a bundle situation. If I have to do another bundle, I'm gonna cry. I haven't even finished the relics yet. That huge ship. Oh god. That ship. I'm so recovering from that slide. Am I getting old? Yes. And that's okay. So am I. You're like super old compared to me. I am like almost triple his age. It's okay, Nio. The giant ship looks like a pirate ship to me. The pirate ship means treasure. I think I found where it might be. Just inside the door. Watch out for traps. Yeah, something tells me this is not going to be the easiest thing I've ever done. I'm just going to keep exploring a little bit in between though. Because there's things like... What is that over there? Oh no. I don't like the idea of this one bit. Something's telling me I'm going to end up having to do a bundle and I just like... I have trauma, right? It took me 2 years of playing to finish the bundles. I'm not going to be happy if I have to do another bundle because what is this? Why do I need keys? Why do I need keys and how do I find them? Let's just go through the door because I feel like it's going to give me the keys eventually. I really don't want to do a bundle. Please don't make me do a bundle. If it unlocks the area between the stables, then oh no. This is going to take me a while. Okay? It's going to take me a minute. Oh, let's solve this thing. Oh god. Okay. Okay, let's do it. Wait, how do I... Oh. I tried solving already, but I kept messing up. That's when I came to tell you about the cave. I'd have to help, but I'm terrible at these things. So am I, and I'm the one that has to do it. Okay, let's try. So the bottom bit's complete. This is correct, right? All of this is correct. Oh no. Oh god. Wait. This might not be terrible if I can get that down. How do I get that down? I'm terrible at these. I'm not gonna get this done. This is gonna be such a struggle. No. Oh, it's nearly finished. That's what's annoying me about it. When it's like not remotely near finished, it's like a little bit less annoying. Like that needs to go down here. How do I do that? You know, like how do I get rid of it? Because if I do this, then that's stuck down there. Usually, like, when I was doing the bundles, I actually looked these up. I'm not gonna lie. I looked them up. Because they were so difficult to do. Okay, something's not right. This needs to go down here and these need to go up here. That is literally it. And then that moves over, like... Oh no, it's like nearly finished. I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna mess it up. Okay. Maybe if I do it like... like this. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, that goes there. That goes there, but I feel like there's something below it that's not there. This goes below it. But it goes here, right? Like, that's correct. But it can't be. This has to go down here. These need to go up a bit. Oh my god. So is it just this bit that's wrong? It's supposed to be like that. I need to get this down here and I don't know how to. I'm like good at puzzles that don't involve pictures. I have to figure out a way to do this. My mind doesn't have a clue. I could spend an hour and it would still not be right. I remember when I did the bundles, I literally looked up how to finish these so I could get them done quick. I'm not even sure if there's gonna be anything online to tell me, like, how to do it. Am I messing it up again? Wait, no, that goes in the top corner, right? Oh, but then we need to get that over there. We need to move these down. How do I do that? I can't get this done. This is so confusing. I'm terrible at puzzles. Oh my god. I heard people say like, oh, PALIA needs harder quests. No, thank you. I feel like they made this game with the intent that it was going to help people that aren't like the best at solving things. Which just made so much sense. Oh, wait. That needs to stay there. And then that needs to go above. So these are all in the wrong place. That's it. If only I could, like, pick them up. Can I do, like... No, I was gonna move them all the wrong way. No, that needs to stay there. I'm gonna... If I move things too much... I feel like it will never end up in the right place. See, now that has to go in the top corner though. Wait. 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 No, it's just these two in the wrong place, right? No, it isn't. Did I do it? I did it on my own. I figured it out. I don't know how. I have no idea how. Oh. Prison Beard's lamp, a pirate map. Okay, where is this though? Is this supposed to help? Is this supposed to help? I have no clue. But he's gonna be so excited. Didn't have treasure in it. Got something even better, treasure map. Okay. Yeah, have it. It's okay. A slidey puzzle thing? Yeah, that's exactly what it is to me. I know it's probably got a name to it, but I'm just like, I'm terrible at them. It's like the one puzzle I'm just terrible at. Like, I like jigsaw puzzles. Honestly, I like Sudoku. I don't know how to do it properly, but like, I like it, you know? Prison what? Prison Beard. Don't tell me you don't know who he is. Is he supposed to be like a myth? Or is he like a real guy? A beard that's a prison, right? No. Prison Beard was the only legendary Grim Lincoln pirate to ever exist. Okay, so he's real. He and his crew sailed across the sea, finding treasure, exploring ancient temples and dungeons, defeating monsters and stealing from all sorts of rich bad guys. Of all the treasure in the world, Prison Beard is said to be the most valuable of all. I don't know what we get for this, so we're gonna find out today, and I'm gonna be like, I hope I'm not disappointed. Didn't I find it already? Yeah, didn't I already find it? Okay, so what do we get? Legends say his lost treasure is worth more than all the coins in the Republic's treasury combined. It can't be worth that much. But even the most experienced of treasure hunters were never able to find it. Nobody's ever seen it before, or at least never lived to tell the tale. So does it exist or not? Nobody really does. I have a feeling it doesn't exist and I'm not going to get anything. But the idea of something that valuable wasn't enough to make literally everyone and their plum hounds search far and wide. And we might have just found the map leading to Prison Beer's lost treasure. Okay. I feel like the Elderwood is an odd choice. Some of the world's greatest discoveries are in the last place you look. That's the line from The Adventures of Jane Rattigan, one of my most favorite books of all time. Isn't everything in the last place you look? It's in the last place you were. Yeah. It's in the first place and you just don't notice it. That's a good point. Every time I look at something, it's always the first place I looked. When Dad's looking for his reading glasses and Johnny's face. Yep. So all we need to do is find where X marks a spot, right? Yeah, okay. So we should match it up. Okay. Match it up. Oh, now it's not showing me the thing. Okay. Find where it marks a spot. Okay, so we need to leave. Because I need to match it to the map. So we come down that like big slide and we go through that door. Can I see it out here? Oh, I can. That's fine. We can do it now then. Is it here? Because it's not there. Prison Beard. I'm going to assume it's this. But I could be wrong. Is it this? Yeah. Okay. This is kind of like difficult to like see it without seeing it side to side. I think it is where that is on the map. So I think I go to it, right? I think that's what we do. But this is a nice place to come fishing and stuff. I don't know what we can get, but it's quiet. I want to be alone. Sometimes when I'm like chilling in game but I'm not streaming, I like to kind of just be somewhere quiet instead of, you know, like a busy pond. Oh, there's another one there. Okay. Not gonna lie. Wait. Do I go this way? Why is it not letting me do it? It says it's locked. Wait, did I not go to the right place to exit? Is this where we exit? I was like, am I locked in here? What is that? Why would I be locked? Rude. Okay. So we need to go to the Lilac Cave. So we'll go this way so I don't get lost. Oh, this way. Okay, so the cave is on the left of this end exit. Okay. Because I feel like I'm going to get lost trying to go back and trying to find where they are. Like, I'm just... It's going to go straight over the top of my head. So I marked it on the map for me, which is nice. Because I was like, I feel like it could be there. We're going to go see if it is. It's probably going to tell me to turn back around and go back to them, though. I can already feel it. And there's, like, 4 keys I need as well. And I don't know where we get them from. Maybe I have to dig around for it. We also haven't actually found the tiles yet. I haven't seen one. Maybe they're near the deep wood. That would make sense. Okay, we're here. But now I have no idea where the treasure is. Okay, we've gone past it. Back this way. Somewhere. Oh, is it down here? No. Okay. I thought maybe that could have been a spot, but apparently not. Through here anywhere? Nope. We're in the right... Oh, we're not in the right place. I keep going past it. Okay. Is it this that it's trying to show me on the map? Or am I crazy? Because this feels like the right place on the map. But there isn't anything here. There's nothing. So maybe it's... No, it can't be that. Is that the only place on the... Yeah, it can't be. That's Oni's lost book. So somehow it's supposed to be around here and I have no idea how or where it is. The one place I thought it could have been is the place that it isn't. So where is it? It's like, I would have expected it to be down here, but it's not. I did get a chest down here, but it was like a while ago now. I'm not gonna lie, I hate to do it, but I feel like I might have to search this. Like, it's the only thing in the map that it's... Wait. No, it's not in there either. It's like the only place in the map that actually makes sense for it to be. Because of this. Is it outside? Maybe it's outside. Like above, but outside? Is that a thing? Maybe that's the thing. We can go check. That's not simple. Could it be up there? Possibly? If it lets me come up here, I don't think it is. Where else could it be? That is the only thing that makes any sense. Like, right here. Oh, can I go up or something? I hate to Google a quest. Like, I'm trying to, like, I'm gonna go make another account and try and do all the quests, like, in depth without searching for anything, like, doing it all on my own, like... And I'm trying not to search things on this account, too. But when things like this happen, I'm so lost. I have no idea where it is. Is it up there? It is around this part of the map. Is there like something I'm not finding? Let me have a look. Quests. We found a mysterious map inside the shipwreck cave. Arnie is convinced it will lead to Prison Beard's lost treasure. The only way to know for sure is to find the X marks the spot. If you need to double check, you can open the map from your quest pouch. Yeah, but I can't find it. Let's have a look. It definitely looks like the cave. Because this is like the outside part, but then this part's the cave or not? I don't know if like... Definitely looks like it's inside of the cave. Because this bit's on the map. I think. It definitely has to be in the cave. I think you've not helped me a little bit more. I feel like I need to be looking up. Is there somewhere I've not seen before that's like new? Like, what? Oh. That sounds different. Is that new? Is that because of the tree things? Is that what's happening right now? By going to the deep woods, they're gonna be like blue gully trees. Or is it at midnight? I don't know when that happens. We'll have to try and do that this stream. I did say that last week. I have no idea what we're looking for. I'd have thought that maybe if it was above me, like there'd be like a hole in the roof to like climb up. But from what I can tell, there isn't. We might have to search this. I know I ended up doing the other one, but maybe we actually have to look this up. Because I don't want to be sat here all stream looking for something. We'll just do this one thing. Just one thing. Patch. Patches. Prism's beard. Learning the rope? No, that's like when you can start it. What's it called? The lost treasure. I literally cannot find it. Find where X marks the spot. Okay. I don't want to look at everything else. I just want that one thing. Okay, there's a suspicious spot I need to dig. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, I need to climb up somewhere. No. Okay, we're not in the bit. So I need to dig something. We have to find it though, that's the problem. If I can find this, that is fine. I needed that little hint. I just needed that hint. So I had no idea what I was looking for. I had like no clue. That's a small hole. So is that? Okay, do we see anything? If it's a hole I have to dig, it's gonna be like on the floor. But is it on this level? Or is it above? Hello! Welcome in. Let me put the red message again. Hello, welcome in. I hope you guys had a good stream. Were you guys playing PALIA? Let's see. You were playing PALIA. What were you guys doing? We are currently trying to find the hole to dig for the quest, and I can't find it. We've been looking for like 10 minutes. I hope you guys had a good weekend too. I promise we'll try and find this. Try and find this hole. Because I feel like this is a little bit boring. I don't want to bore you guys with finding one thing. This is why I get worried with doing quests on stream. But we can't find it. I did some of the new quests as well. Some of the Elderwood you haven't been there much. So you've not really played the Elderwoods updates much. Ooh, I got obsessed with the Elderwood when it first came out. Too obsessed to the point that I didn't go to Killamore or Bahari for weeks. Now we're allowed to go. Okay, we spend a little bit of time there now. We actually go back and do hot pot and stuff. It is very addictive though. It's such a beautiful place. Such a beautiful place. But like the quests are bugging me, I'm not gonna lie. They kind of bug me a little bit. It's so pretty. I love it. I know a lot of people have said that it's not quite their thing. Because it's a little bit too bright in comparison. But I love it. I'm obsessed. I love like witchy things. That's my thing. So like this. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Although I just like... quests are driving me insane. Where is this hole I'm supposed to dig? I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to look it up. Try not to. Oh, we have to dig multiple holes. We are done for. We are done for. I have no idea where they all are. There's like 5 spots. This is ridiculous. Can I find them on the... Oh, I can. The Red Blossom Cave. We're in the wrong cave, that's why. What is this then? It says the first hole to dig is in the other cave. We're in the wrong cave. Did your plot also mess up on missing over 1,000? Okay, so right now... Wait, we're going the wrong way. Right now, in terms of like... Let me do my hydration. I haven't drank yet. Appreciate it. Right now I only really have like one plot that's decorated. I have one which has the it's like a storage plot, like an IKEA plot. It's not got much on it, but it has like my rocks and things like that, like my my gems and like trees and things like that. And then I have another one which is just plain and a bunch of old plain ones I haven't touched yet. I just bought them. So I think I'm lucky because my stuff hasn't really moved. I think I'm okay, but there is someone that was in stream last stream. His plots got completely messed up. And like, I'm really grateful that I think mine's okay. I think it's okay. But that really sucks. Did they just like completely disappear then? Hopefully they turn up. Turn back up, because I would hate to spend so much time decorating in the game for it to just completely disappear. Why did my floorboards turn to a floating wall? Oh my god. I have glitched things. Maybe I should check inside my house, because I know that people that haven't even glitched have also had problems with the decorating. So it's kind of like, even if you haven't glitched anything, it's still a problem. But I do have a lot of glitched things, or like, not a lot of glitched things, but a lot of like surfaces glitched to be like closer together, but I don't see any of the missing stuff. It's completely gone. Completely gone. But it might come back, I hope. I hope it does. I hope it does. I am so like, basically, I am trying to find the time to just sit down and decorate. Like, probably not on stream, because it's a little bit boring for me to be decorating on stream, because I'm very particular. It could take me an hour to get one thing right. So I'm kind of against decorating on stream, personally. Even though I love watching people decorate. But I'm like, I'm glad I haven't started doing it yet, because that would break me to know that it had all been moved. Like, to spend so much time decorating for it all to be moved, that would suck. That would suck, so... Kind of glad I haven't started yet. I have a barely decorated home plot. Right now it's barely touched. Okay, how do I get back up? Because it's not down here. From what I can tell, wait, I should probably look up here, right? Just in case. Yeah, I hope they fix that problem, and I hope that when they fix it, they fix like giving everyone all their stuff back. Hi! You're home. Ooh, I'm gonna check over there. Just to see. I don't want to miss it. I feel like we're gonna be doing this all day, guys. We're gonna have to try and find these holes to dig. It's gonna take me a while. Wait, do we go back that way or that way? Is it this way? No. Wait. Wait. Oh, let's have a look at the map again. I do need to make some food, but I'll leave a lurk if you have a good stream. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Hope your food's good. But definitely go and do some self-care. We might just be in the right place. Hang on a second. If I leave my mouse here, is it gonna work? Hang on. Exit. We're in the right place. It is where I am. It's like right where I am. I think. I think it is. Around here somewhere. Is it below me? Found it. We found it. I think. Let's see. Yeah, look, that's Prison Beard, right? Yes, I found it. On the map, it was showing me to go to the, what is it? The red, not the red cave. The lilac cave, I think it was. Oh, I can hear myself digging. That's great. That's not glitched at all. And I was like, oh, maybe we go there. No. Nope. Why is that on the map? That's very annoying. You found something. Okay. The dirt pile looks way suspicious. Striking it up with your hook. I'm trying to. Okay. So we got another one. This is just like a big chicken chase. Is that what you call it? That's not what you call it. Goose chase. Chicken chase. Okay. Yeah, so I think if I like close that. Oh no. Okay. It's... Oh no, it's doing that thing again. Oh, it's not letting me look. We better follow. Come on, there could be something else. At our heels, hunting it too. Hasn't the treasure been missing for hundreds of years? The stories also introduce a villain at this point, who's also looking. I would, but Clarios yells at me about getting Omaru dung on them. Oh. This boy is obsessed with like, oh god. Okay. Why is he so like, he's goofy, bro. He's goofy. Okay. This is irrelevant. I have no idea what this is for. But cool. Wait, maybe I have like a quest pinned that's causing it to pop up. Unpin. And unpin. Nope. It's just circled for like almost zero reason. Which is very annoying. Okay. It had like... I think it is here though. Right? Like if I go look at it again. Let's put them down here. Number 1 and number 2. Yeah. It's got like a thing in the middle and then 2 things with like path through. Which to me looks like this. But I could be very wrong. But we're gonna go try it anyway. Let's go try it anyway. How do I get back up? Where do I go? This way. Okay. Let's see. I feel like I have some new people that are online right now that I don't recognize the names of. Keep popping up. Oh. This is the wrong place. This is the wrong place. I think we need to go the other way. Although, could we just like leave through... No, I think we have to go this way. We'll go the long way around if I have to. I'm getting lost. I'm getting lost again. Yeah, we can go this way. That's fine. At least I make my way out. I was like, hang on a minute. Where am I right now? Okay, we're on track. We're on track. All good. We also need to find the piles while we're at it. I need to find 2 piles and like 4 holes. This is ridiculous. I'm glad I figured out what I'm looking for now, though. It just looks like a pile, which is nice. I wish it had have told me that. Because I was just like looking around for it and I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea. Ads begin in 30 minutes. Okay. That's where they are. So I'm going to assume it is nearby. Wait, did it show them on the map the whole time? No. Okay. It's okay. It has gone so dark that I cannot, for the life of me, see anything. This is terrible. Did they change something about this? Because I made the game brighter at one point, and now it looks darker than ever. So I hope I can still find it. It was like literally this thing. It was literally where I marked this. Is it down here? Yeah, it is. Okay, so wait, it says to dig the marked spot. Oh, there we go. It was bugged. Is that the same place we are right now? No, it's not. Okay. That means we need to go here, I think. Inventory. Inventory. 1. Okay, number 3. It's like further towards that way. Okay, so we know where we're going. Right. Okay. And it popped up out of nowhere. Hello. Another map. I'm starting to worry that we've been silent though. Wild pixie chase. See, wild chicken, wild goose, wild pixie. Who cares? Right? Who cares? No, it's definitely leading somewhere. We'll see. I feel like I am literally being trolled though. I do feel like I'm being trolled. Like this is gonna end up practically nowhere. For some reason, I feel like I'm just gonna dig up a bunch of holes and it's just gonna lead me to literally absolutely nowhere. You know? That is what happens quite a lot. This game likes to troll us. We still haven't found any piles. Oh, we need to go up there. I can never remember how to get up that, so I'll just go around instead. It's easier. It's easier than getting stuck or getting lost. Okay, it's on the left. Is it on that side? I think it's up here. That's what it looked like. Yeah, because they're looking at it, I think. Oh my god. The game is freaking out. It's just beginning right now. Now that you found my spot's hidden 3, return to the place where my face carved B. Speak out these words and receive your due prize. A fitting reward for Prison Beard's demise. Do I have to go back to them? Because I didn't take a note where they were. There's a place where the face carved B. You think it means the sliding puzzle? Oh, maybe. Possibly, but I feel like the drawing and stuff like this would make sense. We found a pile. Nice. Please be something I need. I don't remember what I need. What do we need right now? Let's check, because I always get disappointed. Okay, statue 1, machine 3. Is that it? Statue 1, machine 3. Yes! We got one! Nice. We got one. That was what I needed. Okay, we need to go back this way, so Dermadoc. Demodoc. Demodoc? I still don't know what we're calling that place. I think it's Demodoc. It's basically one word, but... Oh. Wait, this way, this way, this way. Okay. So we can go and almost, I think, finish a bundle nearly. We have one left. That is it. One more piece left, and then we finish the whole thing. Okay, we need to try and find this again. It's just down here though, right? On the left? Oh. Sure. Why not? Oh, why not? This is so glitched. Wait, you can't press jump. Otherwise it does that. That's so weird. If you try and fly, it doesn't let you. It like glitches you back up. Some reason I have like a tickle in my throat. Hang on, I got a cough. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know why that happens. Stream? Every time I stream, I get like a tickle in my throat or something. Seems to be a magnificent glint. No, that doesn't say magnificent. Mischievous glint in Prison Beard's carved smile. Open sesame. Oh. Oh, I thought that might have been it. Ooh, with a poof of Grimlicum magic, a treasure chest appears in front of you. Open the chest. Spyglass. Wild goose chase, like I said. Is that the treasure? I don't get it. I was expecting something shinier. I gotta admit, I'm kind of stumped too. Prison Speed was known for his tricks though, true. True. Why don't you try looking through it? Maybe it'll reveal something. Okay. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do that? I don't have it. I don't have... Oh, it's there. That makes sense. Talk to statue that appeared. Oh, this looks like something's gonna like pop out or something. Ye who seek treasure, ye who seek fame, ye who seek all under Prison Beard's name. Ye this tale as ye follow me past, from the start of the journey till I breathed me last. That was great help. That was great help. Oh my. I wonder how it even works. If I run over there, I don't feel anything at all. Interesting. More importantly, what's with all the riddles? I wasn't expected to use my brain for this. I think this guy is worse than me. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he's... Oh no, I didn't think we'd have to do puzzles. Oh no, not the riddles. Like, This is your brother. How are you two related? How are they related? They're nothing alike. Yeah, I stand by it. Nothing alike. Hello, are you back? Are you back, Jack? I'm gonna assume you are, because I don't know why you'd be in my stream if you weren't. I wouldn't be. It says something about following Prism's beard's past, right? So what would you expect of his journey be? Where he built his ship, where he was born, or the Phoenix Shrine, or Phoenix Shrine? Where he started. Prism's beard was a gremlinkin. I don't think he'd be... Okay. Space. Oh. Where he built his ship? Where he was born then? Oh my god. No, I'm chilling. You're still there and you're watching me. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? I'm flattered, but like, why would you want to do that? Yeah. I mean, you're gonna watch me while are you like by the pool or something, like watching me like with your earphones in? That's basically why I'm not. I'm only in my room. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be watching me. I'd be outside. I'd be outside. But yeah, are you having a good time? That's gotta be it. There's no early start. But where did Prism Beard grow up? Maybe we should ask Clary if she's got any books on. Did he say Prism or Beard? Prism or Beard? Are we being for real? Oh, you weren't. I'm gonna take a wild guess as to why. And I'm probably right. I'm just, you know. I come with you, but I'm banned from the library. Why is he banned from the library? What did you do? I was trying to check out a super cool looking butterfly, but I missed, and my trap went right through one of the library windows. This boy, he's not allowed to go and borrow books from the library because he gets cow poo on them. And his brother can't go back because he's banned from smashing a window with his like bug catching net. What a great pair. What a great pair. It's been an experience so far. Sounds like it. Sounds like it. I've seen your Snapchat stuff. I got scared and ran off, but she caught me up to me somehow. Wow, she's quick. Just says she wasn't very happy. My face is definitely the last one Clary wants to see right now. That's why it's your job to talk to her. But we can wait outside while you check. Okay. Okay. We got a map. Like an actual map. It is an actual map. It's decor. Is it decor? Yeah. I love getting maps. I don't know why, I just love the maps in the game. I didn't think this quest would be so long. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it would be very short. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It gets us something to do, I'm not mad. This might take the whole stream. If not, we will try and do some... oh, we missed Hot Pot. Okay, we'll do this quest and then it will start going to like Hot Pot and stuff. It's so random, but your hair looks nice. Thank you. I did it a bit different. A little bit different. It's more curly. I did a little bit more curly than usual. And then I keep like making it like super messy. You know? I curl it really like tight ringlets and I just like mess it up. I just let the wind do its job. I also put like less hair at the front of the headset. Maybe that's why it looks different too. Okay, we gotta go to Killamar. And we can't do Hot Pot. We'll do Hot Pot after I finish the quest and then we'll start buying Decky coins and stuff, but either way, we'll do at least one Hot Pot. Hello? They just start appearing everywhere now. Okay. Now we just have random statues everywhere. Cool. It's not spooky at all, you know. That's like the thing in Fortnite right now. There's these like shadow figures that appear out of nowhere for some reason and they just like stalk you around the map. It's like the same sort of vibe. I'm getting stalked by a statue. I don't like it. I don't like it. Wait, she's not even in the library right now. It's like 5 a.m. How am I gonna find her? Oh wait, she is. Is she in the library at 5 o'clock in the morning? Are we being for real right now, girl? I know. I get it. I get it now. Like, I wanna read for like eternity sometimes too, but like, you gotta go home. Have I missed any major Fortnite things? Not yet. I don't think. I think there is an update. Is it tomorrow when they do updates? I think, and it's like a new mythic coming out and stuff. But I don't think there's anything like major yet. You just missed like a bunch of glitches and stuff. That's it. I think they've just done like hot fixes and stuff.
The test of time.
Very few people come to this library to chat, which is how I prefer it. I cannot tell if I love or hate Palaria or not. She's very like, I don't know, if it should be like me, like don't say the wrong thing. Do you know anything about Prison Beard? The pirate? What exactly are you looking for? It sounds like quite the adventure and everything for a man like him. The man known as Prison Beard has become something of a mythical creature in Bahari lore. Picking out the facts from the fiction is a delicate task. Laria baddie for real. Boy. You'll find plenty of rubbish out there, but as for a reliable book about his life, all I have are some old newspaper plate. I suppose you'll be wanting to see them. I can tell you right now, Jack, that when you start playing, it's gonna be... Oh, who am I thinking of? It's the mayor's daughter. That's who. I already know. I'd place a bet on it that that's the one that you're gonna try and marry and stuff. She's gonna be the first one to get a relationship badge from you. I do want to see them, but I'd be grateful for any help. How polite. That attitude is just will get you far in life. Just okay. Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of words. That's a lot of words. We will read that off stream. I'm not reading that right now. That will take me 10 minutes to read. Where is your brother? Did he not come here too? What did you do? Did he run off? Was he scared? Is it too dark at night for him? Seems like the kind of guy like that. Why is... He just like left you at 5 o'clock in the morning on your own. Because it says return to Orni and Nio.
This is gonna be such a great day.
Where is your brother? She will not read that off stream. I will. I will. I have a backlog of things I need to read in game. I promise I'll read it. Hey, I finished my first book the other day, so like... Your girl reads now. Oh! Speak of the devil, here he is. Finally, just left your 10-year-old brother to fend for himself at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, this is why he runs off all the time. I don't feel like anyone parents him right. He's just like left on his own all the time. The kid went to Elderwood on his own, got lost, got stuck up a tree, left his book, that he needs to return to the library, which is now not allowed in because he smashed a window. Like, my god. Maybe someday me and I will bury treasure at our farm. I don't know what kind of treasure that'll be. I might forget where I buried it. This boy, I swear. I'm pretty sure I recognize the spot in the article. Okay. Come on then, where are we going? Oh. Yeah, come on, let's go. Take me with you, right? Where are we going? Where are we going? What? Why am I not invited? Hello? The first reel told you to go to the spot, the start of Prism's Beard journey. You've figured out that this likely means his childhood home. Don't forget to check the book in your quest pouch. Oh. See, this is why you kind of have to look at things sometimes. Oh. Was raised in the forest just outside the Zedru outpost. Okay. I think that is a place near Elderwood. I think. I don't know if it is, but I think it is. So let's go. Hopefully I actually get this done in time for the stream. I should do it. It's been like an hour of doing this. Kind of insane. I didn't actually expect it to be this long of a quest. Usually when I do quests, they're over in like 5 minutes. But is this like a main story quest? I thought this was like a side quest. But it seems like a main story. Okay. Zedru. Zedru where? Oh my god, okay, Mavis where? Okay, I think we know where he is. Because it's by the big purple thing, right? Over this side. I'm gonna assume it is. I don't know. It's not purple anymore. Wait. Do I have to go the other way? Because this is like where the... Oh, wait, no. It's not purple anymore. Yeah, it never was. And I'm gonna drown. It never was. That's the wrong one. Wait, that bit of pallium that was just there looked pink. They are actually gaslighting us with this pallium thing. Every time. Okay. This is his home. I think. Can we go in? No, we can't. Oh my god. Is it the cave? Wait, we found the other pile. Is it going to be one we need? Is this pile going to be the last one I need? Let's check. Which one did I need again? We need Ancient Statue 1. No! It's okay. We got one. It'll do. We got one of them at least. Okay, we need to go this way. Because I think that could make sense. Maybe? I think it might. We go in here. He could have been raised in here? Maybe that's a wild thought, but nope. Wait. What's that sound? What is that sound? Hello? Why do I hear like birds? This is not the right place. I need to go back. I thought maybe he would have been raised here. That like would have made sense. I mean, he's a gremlin, and he's not. I wouldn't put it past that being where he was raised. He's a cat, right? Anywhere would be possible. Unless you're Zeki and you live in a house. But this guy's a pirate. Where else could it be? It won't let me through the, It won't let me through here. Up there, maybe? Maybe. Oh, no, though. It's got to be around here somewhere. That is the only thing that makes any sense. Unless they've added something in that I... Excuse me? You're getting stuck in the wall. Yeah, this is like the only thing that would make any sense. Like, up here. Or like... Wait, what's up there? That's new. Right? That's new. I don't know what that is, but... I don't know where his childhood home is. It said it was like near this place. Born and raised in the forest just outside of Zedru Outpost. Oh! It's the opposite side of the damn door. That's annoying. It's the one... I think I need to go to... the wood? But it's the woods, not the forest. Is there even a difference between the two? Or is it the same thing? Because at this point, I feel like it's going to tell me it's a deep wood. But of course it would say forest and not wood. Just to confuse me a little bit. But I wouldn't have thought about a cat living in a forest. That just doesn't really make sense to me. I was thinking maybe like a cave or something would make more sense. Wait, there's nothing up here, right? No. We need to go back to the stables. Maybe. Or is it here? Because that's there. Maybe it's like this way. 'Cause that's like there. I feel like it could work. Maybe. But like this is the deep wood, right? Or is this not the deep wood? Yeah, it is a deep wood, but I guess it counts as a deep wood even up here as well. Very confusing. Or it could be that hole as well, and then I think about it. It says forest. Wait. No. See, I keep thinking these caves would make so much more sense. My glasses are falling down my face. I hate when it's this hot and my glasses just fall. Every time I talk, they fall further and further down my face. Yeah, there's like a hole. Oh, yeah. Could it be this? No. No. Okay, it's not that. Never mind. Where else? Gotta be... It's gotta be out here somewhere, because like... maybe I do just go back and try and see if I can go through the other way. Through the stables. It's just it says... Wrong way. It says that like he lived in the forest just outside of that place, which like would make sense that the deep woods would be where it is. But I can't find anything. And if it lets me through this way, it would make sense. Damn it! What? Where are we supposed to look? Was born and raised in a forest just outside Zedru Outpost, or so the legends say. So was he not? His main base of operations were around the Bahari province and its neighbouring territories, but evidence of his presence can be traced across the Palian Republic and the Kingdom of Umbra. Oh my god. What is this? Where is this? Is this in Bahari? I'm so lost. Where is this? Pictured by the pond where he reportedly sailed toy boats and his brother. Young Zayed left the boat one day by Dermadoc, and a few months later, Prison Speared name first appeared in papers. Okay, where is this though? Because this is where I'm supposed to go, right? And like we went there and I didn't see anything. Do we think it could be? Let's fast travel to this place. I think it could be around that bottom side where I said like last stream. I've never looked down there before. Because it was practically like irrelevant. Because you know, it's like on the edge of the map and nobody looks around there. Could be. Could be. Over this way? They should like hide the coordinates in... Wait, is this it? Is it destroyed? Okay, the path to the treasure begins here, a place I hold most dear. Next, you must take a little trip to the place where I sailed my first ship. Okay, we're fine. We figured it out. I was like, hang on, it's gotta be in that little bit where no one goes. So we now need to go to the pond, which I can find. I go there all the time. You guys just have to keep searching. Honestly, though, there are worse things I can think than spending the day with my two besties. I'm still your bestie? Of course you are. People like you is a forever bestie. I'll reach you to the next spot. Oh my god. I really gave myself in today. Oh my god, this guy, I swear. Okay. Now we need to go to the pond, which we know where that is. Thankfully, we know where that is. Okay. We can get there without getting lost because I know my way. At least I know my way to some places. Most places? No. This place? Yeah. It's like my go-to place for fishing in Elderwood, I would say. Because it's like the most peaceful. Although I won't lie, there's not that many people in the Elderwood right now. Is it because people are trying to do fishing and stuff in Killamore? I did see there was a bug. I did see there was a bug on Friday or Saturday or something like that. Which I missed. I'm kind of a little bit annoyed about. But it was like a fishing glitch. I think you could just like, every time you fished, I think it gave you a level of fishing which is like, that's kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. It's even worse than the frog glitch. But I think it was only like an hour or something. So. Over here. There we go. We found it. First ship I built weren't seaworthy. No. I built it together with me only, bro. Next you must find where I set sail on the dock I once kept my lucky pail. Okay. So we kind of know where that is. Where are Orny and Naya? Oh my gosh. Try and climb up there. Are they even here? Do I have to go... Do I have to go back? I have to update them, so do I have to go back to Killamore for that? Because if so, that's kind of annoying. Not gonna lie, like... They were showing up every time I did anything, and now they're just like, eh. Nope. Kind of a little bit annoying. We will see. Let's see. Oh. Trying to bring my mouse over to move them on, or it's very annoying. Hopefully they are where I'm thinking, because otherwise I have no idea. I think it's glitched because they're not here either. Yeah, this is great. Oh my god. Maybe they're at my home. I think I'm supposed to spawn after I do that part of the quest. They're like supposed to spawn next to it and they didn't. Maybe we relog, they might show up. I don't know. Yeah, they're not here. That kind of sucks. I have no idea where they're gonna be. Oh, I did the thing. I did the thing. We went to the market. I didn't mean to go to the market. I meant to go to Elderwood. Every damn time. Elderwood. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, please. Please tell me that if I go back to the pond that they're stood there. Because if they're not, then I'm done for. I have no idea where they've gone. It says to update them. Bro, wrong way? Yeah, wrong way. It says to update them. I can't like do anything until I do. How do I update them on something if they don't want to show up? Yeah, that's on them. feel like every time I stream, I get like a weird craving. Just like a random craving out of nowhere. And the craving right now is biscuits. Not like chocolate biscuit, like biscuits. Like those boxes of like the broken biscuits. Just like full of like... Even the most plain biscuits right now would do. I don't know what that is. Okay, I cannot find where they are. It does say there's 2 things back at the stables. Were they there? I did not see them. If they were there the whole time, that's a little bit annoying. Where are you guys? Where are you guys? They're not here. Oh, that's... Okay, that's to do with the companion thing. I don't know where they are. Is this a glitch? Is it broken? Don't tell me it's broken. Don't tell me I did this just for it to be broken. Da, 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 da. Okay, we found... Oh! Do I have to go back to the puzzle? That wasn't very clear, though. Next for the ones you'd find where prison bail... It doesn't tell me to go back. It doesn't tell me to go back to the cave. That is kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that it didn't even tell me where to go. Just like, update them. How? How do I update them? You haven't even told me how to. If this is where they are, I swear. We need like some clarification on these things. This is like... This is my thing. My one thing that I will always be a little bit annoyed at. I need direct instructions. I don't know where I'm going. I have no idea how to go and find something. I need you to tell me how to find it. I don't mind the exploration to some extent. But I feel like this game is so much smaller than the games that do that. And this just kind of frustrates me a little bit. Like, if a game is so big that I need to, like, explore the whole map and everything. Great. But not when I literally have no idea where anything is. Like, obviously the map isn't even big enough to really... Oh my god, you cannot press a single button. You can't press a single button. Okay, now I can. So weird. I just feel like if I go through here and I hear it, like, there was no indication that that's where they would be. Like, the ones with, like, Gina and stuff, like, I had to go back and forth to them, but they're, like, not here. Like, what? Where are they? I don't know where they are. Like, I'm so lost. Okay, I gotta see if this is broken. Update. Oh, that's not spelled right. Update Oni and Naya. Oh. Okay, this guy sucks. Oh, it's not good. I think it might be bugged. The true treasure. Let's search that. I'm on the Discord right now because it seems to be the one place that actually makes me aware that something is broken and it's not just me. Not just me. So they're like supposed to be near the statue, but like it's not there. Yeah, I am not the only one struggling with this. Okay, maybe it's actually broken and they need to fix it because I'm kind of annoyed. I just spent like an hour and a half trying to do this. And now I can't complete it. And I want to know what the treasure is. I want to know what the treasure is. I can try and go back. See, what is this? It's moved. There was something here, now it's not here, but like... Okay, we'll go back. We'll go back and see if I can find it. But I think the quest is bugged. Which, like... The fact that this song is playing, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's my Tears Ricochet. Like, I'm like... I want to cry. I just spent like half the stream doing this. Just for it to break? Wow. Wow. It's not in here or anything, is it? No. Okay. I have no idea. I have no idea. I guess we're just gonna go back and see if they're around there. And if they are, good. If they're not, then I cry. We just find frogs instead, it's fine. But it's not fine overall. Because what do you even mean? Like, I can come to this and do this, but it's probably not gonna work. Nothing. And it says there's something around here. But I don't see anything. Around here. Are they like around this? Or something? Like, is there a new cave that I'm supposed to find? Like... All it says to do is to update them. I can't find them. I think it's broken. Oh, that's really annoying. That's really annoying. I really wanted to get this done. Oh no. What do we do? Do I send a bug report? I don't like sending bug reports if I'm not confirmed that it's bugged. The next riddle wants you to find where Prism Beard sailed his first ship. Don't forget to check the book in your quest pouch. Done. Update on the Nio. How? I can't. I can't. There isn't any way to find them. They're not here. Okay, I'm gonna close the game and restart it. Because that is extremely annoying. Like, why is that a thing? I feel like if a quest is bugged, don't let me do it. Don't let me start it. I feel like everyone else is having this problem. Then none of them are actually showing at all. Okay, we're even open PALIA now. This is not good. There we go. Okay. We'll open the game and see, but... Ah, okay, let's try and go to the Magic Market. Might not be able to do it right now, but we can try it in general. See if we can find them. Find them there at least. I have no idea where they are. They're not showing it. Nio's not showing at the stables. And Oni's not in the middle of town. They're not like near the location that I found the thing at. They're not in the cave. They're nowhere. They don't exist. They are non-existent. Very annoying. I don't think I've ever had this happen. I don't think I have. I've ever had a quest be bugged. Usually my bugs are to do with the items not working right. Honestly, it wouldn't be too annoying if it meant that my game would restart quite quick. Except it doesn't. You know, because it takes like 10 minutes for the game to restart. There we go. That's the only thing it really is annoying about, like, if I need to restart the game, that's okay, but it takes so long. Sometimes it takes like 10 minutes for it to get to the like loading part, like the start menu. Let's go. Did we find... Is this because I did it the wrong way around? He sailed his first ship here. That's the problem. Right? Like, this is where he sailed his first ship. Right? And they're not here. So we go back to the pond. Okay, we are like an hour in games, like a couple minutes, and they should be, I think, at the, or at least Orny should be, I think, at the market. I'm stuck. I'm not having a good PALIA day right now. It's not working out very well. Hopefully that means the game will give me a plushie to make up for it. Right? Right? PALIA gods, if you're listening, I'd appreciate it. Every time we say that, they end up giving me one. Now it's become a thing. Now it's become a thing that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get one now. That's if I can even finish this quest so I could do some hunting for them. I have like an hour. Please. I wanted to do like this quest and then try and do like frog hunting. Look, they're not here either. They're not here. Do you know where they are? I feel like I'm being tricked. Let's just try and go to the market and see if they're there. Let's hope. Let's hope. Let's pray. I really, really, really hope they're there. Okay. I think does it start at 6? Which is in 1 minute. I think it is. 1:45 is 6 PM and 1:15 is 6 AM, I think. Please. Please tell me he's going to turn up. Because if it does, that's fine. If it works, it's fine, but... I got a feeling that it's going to be very broken. And I'm just one of the unlucky few that had it as a bug. Please, come through the door. Nope, wrong person. When do the rest of them come through? They come through earlier than I remember them coming through. Please, show up. Please. We want to finish the quest. Gina, you're not the one I want. That's not the one I want. I'm waiting for him. He's gonna come through. I swear he's gonna come through. He doesn't like spawn down there, right? He didn't come through with anyone else. Okay, they're here. She's here. Just like one more person. Please. I don't even know who comes to the market anymore. I forgot. I think they changed it. Yeah, not you. I don't need to speak to you. I can speak to you though. Please. Just spawn. Come through the gate. You know you want to. I want to finish. You want to find the treasure, right? Because if you want to find the treasure, you gotta come speak to me. I can't do this on my own. I have to speak to you to complete it. Yeah, he's not here yet. Oh my god, this might be glitched. If it's glitched, I'll just have to like do frog hunting for the rest of the stream. And then we'll just like send a bug report. The game seems very glitched right now. Pretty much anyone that's spawning in is spawning as a ghost. Like, what is this? This normally only happens during Chopper Hunt. Something tells me he's not coming through that gate. I don't think we're gonna complete the quest. Oh my god, what a genius. We did it! We did it! I honestly doubted so much then. So Primo Beard had a brother he used to play with. Oh my god. Why haven't we heard anything about his brother before? It seems like a big thing to leave out. Are you Prism Beard? I wish, but I get super seasick. Also, Prism Beard lived like 100 years ago, and I'm not that old. If you eat vegetables, you'll get there one day. Anyway, I guess we should go look for the dock.
Let's chat more later, okay?
That would make a point, wouldn't it? Now I can go do that. If I try and do it while the market's on, hopefully, if it glitches again, we can come back. Gladly that worked. Gladly that worked. Okay, back to Elderwood. And then we go to the dock where the first statue I found was. So I think was supposed to be there for a reason. I thought they were just popping up for no reason, like randomly, like around the map. Turns out it's part of the quest. It's part of the quest. Taking a while. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we go to Mavis Way, and then we go to where that statue is, and we complete the quest. The last part of the quest, because I hope it is now. I kind of was like, oh, maybe it'll last 3 hours. I don't want it to last 3 hours now. I don't want it to glitch again. I'm worried about it glitching. Hopefully this is the last one. I want to know what the treasure is before it glitches again. I want to know what the treasure is. Is it good treasure or is it kind of bad treasure? You know? Is it something I could use? Is it something I could sell? Is it something I want to keep? Let's find out. No. 3 became 2 as I sailed out that day, then 2 became 1 when our ma passed away. Next, you must find where Prism Beard was caught. There in the dark, many fires were shot. Okay. So then, oh, they spawned. Nice. Nice.
I can always make some time for a buddy.
Okay. This first part of the poem, 3 become 2, become 1. Maybe he still came back to visit? I'm sure he did. I know I would have. You'd have become a pirate first. You'd have to become a pirate first. Oh, they don't like Amaru's on a boat. Why not? Find where Prism Beard was caught. We should find that in this, right? Oh, it's called his mess. Oh. Toy boats. This. Is that it? Or made his escape? I think it's this. But I don't know where that is. Oh, it's in the stable. Okay. We can go do that. I think it's in the stable, at the top of the stable somewhere. Think it is, because otherwise I don't know where it is. That's what it looks like. Find out. We'll find out. Hope I'm right. First time I might be right today. I just want to make sure I can get this done before the thing disappears because if the market's not open, I can't find them and we've got to leave it. And I don't want to leave it. I think it's going to be where he was caught and then where he escaped and then it's going to be done. Considering that's where all the pictures are from. Let's see. It's got to be up there somewhere. This side? It'll be like a statue. Yeah, I was right. Twas here where two brothers did first reunite, not as friends, but foes. Oh. So I put up a fight. Nation must find where I made escape. Twas at that old tower where it all took shape. Okay, so I know where this is. Did they spawn? They did! I fixed it. I think I fixed it. His brother was the one who caught him, but they're brothers. Sometimes I get annoyed at Nio, but I've never wanted to arrest him. People have different families, or they aren't always close as ours. Still, he must have cared about his brother at least a little bit, or he wouldn't have left the story behind, right? I guess, and maybe they made up.
I gotta go, but
Maybe. Now we need to go to this one. This is in Matana Grove, I think. I think I only know these things now because with going and doing like hunting in certain places, trying to find things in certain places, I've become kind of used to it. I think I've finally become used to like where places are finally. It's on one of these. Wait, did I walk past it? I walked past it! Oh my god, I walked right past it. What? You found where prison beard got away, two brothers departing with still more to say. Now you must find where the chapter ends, overlooking the ruins of Oibard's revenge? The ruins of. Okay, the ruins. I don't know where that would be. Oh, maybe it's near the like purple thing. That would make sense. That means we're finally gonna find the treasure. Okay. You bounced back pretty quick when you all said about the story earlier. Yeah, but that happened ages ago. Now the treasure's happening now. Anyway, his treasure is the name of Prism's Beard ship. Let's head back to the cave. Oh, the cave. Okay, where is the stable? Because I don't want to walk over there. It ain't gonna work out very well if I have to try and walk over there. I'm gonna get lost again. Just easier if I first travel. Here. Wait, maybe it's actually Murder Dock. Or Demodock. I keep saying Murder Dock and I'm like... No. Okay, this way. Yeah, I should probably go there instead, but I keep coming here because I keep forgetting. Also, I figured out that I don't know if it's correct, but apparently the drop rate of the frogs, the one I actually like the most is the green one. I think that one's the one with the lowest drop rate, or like the highest drop rate, whatever you want to say, like the one that's easiest to get, right? So that means I can actually get the one I want the most. Obviously, we want the green one. It's pretty evident, you know? Pretty obvious. But I can get it way easier than the rest. So you don't need to worry about it. I want them all, but I think that one's the one I really want. I think the other ones are like 1 in 500,000 and stuff, and this one's like 1 in 500 or something like that. Which should mean that I get it, but it's only an estimated, like fan estimate or something. It's not a real estimate. Not a real stat, should I say. It's just estimated. Let's hope. Okay, take me there. These. Not touching anything. Okay, we're okay. I was just like, if I touch anything, it's gonna flip me back up there. So are they in here now? No. No. Wait, the ship's up there, isn't it? I'm probably come the wrong way now. Where's the ship? The ship's there. Wait, do I have to get over there? How do I do that? Oh. I came down. I think I was supposed to fly over. Okay. Let's go back up. Wait. Why is that there? Is there more drawings of them around this place? Or is that one hinting at something? I think that this like final bit's gonna get us like a box of keys in it, and we're gonna be able to open the actual treasure chests around this thing. But like there's different like entrances to like stuff, and I'm a little bit confused. Like that there isn't an entrance to it or anything, but where do I go? Over here? Do I try and get to that bit? Oh wait, I can land on this, right? Right. Right. No. Oh my god, I'm dead. Okay. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I'm gonna go back up. That's so annoying. What? Or can I like jump up there? Wait. Can I jump back up? Wait. Wait a second. Climb up this. Nope. Yep. How far up does it send? Oh, I didn't realize that was... Oh wait, I don't think I can actually get up this. Damn it! Okay, we have to go all the way around. I have no idea how to get there. That's very annoying. Ads start in 3 minutes. These should be the last lot of ads for the stream. We'll delay the last lot. Depending on what we're doing, I'll try and delay them. I'd rather not play them. Rather not play them. Okay, how do we get there? Am I not doing it the right way around? How am I supposed to get over? Do I just fly over to this and then go up? I quite literally... I cannot get to it. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get to it? This way? Do I go the other way? Was I supposed to climb up that? I feel like this wouldn't just be here for no reason. Oh. Wait. Wait. Oh, wait a second. Can I not climb up this? Or something? Like, why is it letting me climb on it? I feel like I'm supposed to go over to the ship, right? Like, it's the thing that makes sense. But I literally... I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I gotta just jump back down. Oh, wait a second. Do I go on this? I did not see this. I'm not good with these. No, I'm not good with these. This is not good. Am I supposed to be like... Because it won't let me land on this. Oh, it will. Hang on. Okay, I can't get past that little bit. What am I doing wrong? I'm supposed to get over there, but like I can't swim because the game doesn't let you swim. I feel like that way makes more sense. How am I gonna get over there though? Oh wait, nope. God damn it. Oh my god. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Oh my god. Okay, maybe we try this way instead. This is the problem with the game not telling me things. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do we like... Are we supposed to fly over that way? If I fly from that, am I gonna get over there? Maybe that is what I do. But why can't I get up the stairs? What is happening? Okay, the game feels incredibly glitched right now. I feel like something's not spawning in like it should be. There's just no way I'm supposed to be able to figure this out on my own. Like, I'm just supposed to know how to get there. Why is it not letting me go up the stairs? Oh my god. Okay, so they're looking at that, which clearly tells me that's where I'm supposed to go. But am I like supposed to go from here and get on top of that? I don't think it's gonna let me do that. No, now I'm stuck in the wall. Like, how am I supposed to... get over to this? Like, I'm gonna fall. How am I supposed to do this? This is so confusing. It won't even let- oh my god. I'm stuck. It won't let me do anything. What? Do I need to speak to this? Oh my god, I think I'm supposed to talk to this. There once was a family who lived under trees, 2 sons they did have, and both dreamed of the sea. The first stayed at home while the second did roam. Now where comes the question, which one was me? Yeah, I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to do that, I didn't see it.
Go on an adventure.
The giant door just lit up. Of course it did, that makes so much sense. Where's the giant door? Is it this one? I had no idea that's what I was supposed to do. That was not, like, obvious to me. How was I supposed to know that? How was I supposed to know that? Was that supposed to be obvious? No. What? What is this? Solve the puzzle? Just, like, just solve it. Yeah, sure. What? Wait, clue 3, but where's clue 1? Oh, clue 1. No? Clue 2. Clue 1. The storms in the west be deadly at best. That's where Charybdis put me to the test. A whirlpool that bites and the source of much fright. Still me and me heart is make it through the night. What? Wait, what to the west? Storms to the west. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. I have no idea what I'm looking at. Hello? How is this supposed to help? These are the worst clues. Oh my god. Shivers down my spine. So in the south I made the best the beast mine. On glaciers we clashed. The waves they did slash. And with a flick of me sword, it was gone in a flash. How are these supposed to help? I'm so confused. Like that, and then that, and then we can just like try that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's so confusing. I have no idea what these are supposed to mean. Okay, the Kraken of the East. So this one. Okay, that's correct. North. The siren to the north. Oh wait, that was correct. Okay, so maybe we do that. Did I do it? No. Okay, this one. Do that. Change this one to that again. I feel like the other two are right, but this one isn't. No. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know, it tells me like the Kraken is the east. I feel like this is north, but maybe this is north, so this would be east. And then north is that. Then we can try doing both of those like that. Then we can try changing them. That. Neither of them are correct. I have no idea what these two mean. There's like... I don't know what that one is. That one's just confusing. South. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna assume it's this guy. And then this one is the crack. And then this guy is this blue one. And then this one's that one. Is that correct? How am I supposed to figure this out? This one has no context to it. The storm's due west. The eye of the storm. Wait, it's resetting it every time. You gotta be kidding me right now. And then that one goes there. The Kraken goes... Wait, does the Kraken go there and that goes there? And then that one is... that. I can't get this right. Storms in the west. Storms to the west. Okay. North, east, south, west. Do that. And if that's north, what goes on the north? That's the east. Siren. That's already on. And then this guy goes there. And that guy goes there. It's not correct. How am I supposed to guess? These like clues don't even like help. Storms in the west. The whirlpool that bites is a source of much fright. See, I would have thought it would be like the eye of the storm or something. Which way is north? Like, am I... Oh. Just realized the compass. That's the north. That's the north. Okay. South is... I think it's the sky? I think. East is the Kraken. East. And then that's that. Still not right. Hello? The siren to the north. Right, it's on the siren. The Kraken to the east. East. Storm to the west. West, west, west. Which would be that. And then the other thing that's left is this guy. I swear I already did that. What? Oh, get the treasure. Yeah. That's all I get? Are you kidding me right now? Oh. Wait, I actually got something cool I could decorate with. Okay, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Is there anything else? No. Is that it? Okay.
If I hurry up, I can go catch.
There are two prison beards. The original one and his brother who decided to continue his legacy. The last time his name is... You said it right this time. So if the prison beard died a long time ago, that means prison beard 2 was the one who set all this up. The treasure hunt, the puzzles. At the end of the day, all he wanted was for someone to hear the story. Their true story. I wish it had ended a different way. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? We can make sure it did and doesn't end that way for us. True. Good point. Oh, I'm really glad you're my brother. Better spend a day with your brother and not find his treasure than a lifetime find treasure without your brother. Although I have to say I'm a little disappointed we didn't find like a vault full of magic weapons or something. Not true, the order will just end up confiscating all that stuff. That's a good point. You're a good kid. I'm not a kid. You'll always be my brother. You are a kid. Just accept it. It's fine. Yes, you guys are kind of sad the treasure hunt's over. I'm not. That was frustrating. The end of one adventure is simply the beginning of another. Let's quote from the adventurers. I will as soon as I'm unbanned from the library. We finished it! We finished it! It took 2 hours. Honestly, if that had been bugged, I would have been so frustrated. Like, the amount of time it took just for me to figure out how to find them that time, and then to find the thing, I didn't realize I had to speak to the statue. I felt like I had to try and fly over there. Oh my god. Can we go and open all the chests now? Or am I not allowed to? Nope. How do I find them? Do I not find them? Is that the point? Is it for another update or something? 'Cause that's extremely annoying. To like give us like things that we can't do anything with. What do you mean? What do you mean I can't do anything? I literally got given access to a cave that has 4 chests that are just sat there in plain sight. And you're not gonna let me have them. Yeah, great. What a tease! What a tease. Okay. I've heard this statue is so big that I'm gonna struggle to find a place to put it. Oh my god. Wait. It's kind of cute. Wait, I kind of like it. I don't know where to put it though. Maybe just on the side of the house for now. Oh, I like it. I can find something for that. I can find somewhere to put that, definitely. Okay, let's water these while we're here. I am really glad that that's over though. I was kind of all for it taking me an hour or 2, maybe even 3 in the end to do. But, nah. In the end, it was way too frustrating. I just wanted it to be done with. Like, if I could have spoken to Orny to begin with, that would have been fine. And if the game had been like, hey, you need to do this to, like, complete it, I would have been fine. It had me guessing for, like, 10 minutes how to fly across when I didn't need to. That's extremely annoying. Oh, I keep watering my plants at 6 o'clock. And it literally, like, turns instantly. Although I'm not complaining. I'm not going to complain about that. Because that means I could just water them again and get rid of them. Because we need to plant more apples. Now that we need money again, we need apples. I didn't need them for so long with the frog thing. For like weeks, I didn't plant anything and I should have. Let this be a lesson that if you need something, if you don't need something right now, you might still need it after. And so you need to do it now so that you have it when you need it. Like, I literally just, like, left. I left so much for no reason. And it was just like... Now I regret it. Okay. Do we go and do a little bit of hunting? Maybe? I think we go and do... Let me go do some frogs. Maybe. Hang on, let's see. what I can do with these. Do I use these? Do I use these? I think maybe I should. Just because. Oh, did not mean to do that. Take them with me just so I can use them. Why not? Do it those. Do that. Think we can go and do that. And then we need to speak to Ollie. I think, how much do I have? Oh, yeah. Let's go and find him. And buy maybe like 2? Maybe like 2. Vanillas. Maybe. We'll see. I don't really want to make them now. You know? I used to make them because it made more sense for me to do that. But now it's just kind of like, I don't want to use all of my apples. I don't want to use my apples. Wait, where is he right now? Is he at home? No, he's here. Where? Oh, he's over this side. That's why. Okay, we need... We can get 2. That's fine.
Didn't scare you off last time.
Oh,
Okay?
I'm going to catch frogs. Okay, we can do frogs for a little bit, and then when it gets to hot pot time, we can either go play hot pot, or we can just go buy Zeki coins. I'm not sure which one, but we'll see. Let's go to Elderwoods. Try and find some frog plushies. Still don't have any Ogre ones, and I still don't have any small ones, but it's fine. It's fine. I just want one, you know? I just want one. Where is the best place to go get them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it? Is it this way? Wait, no, that's not the right one. Let's just fast travel. Maybe I go to, like, the woods or something. Because we all know that's where they were. That's where they were good to try and find them, so they should still be good. I'd assumed. Like, over... Wait, which way? This way? Is this the right way I'm thinking of? Yeah? I think. No? No, that's not the right place. I'm thinking like over this side would make sense. Because there is frogs. So I'm just gonna put one down. I don't care which one spawn, I just want frogs. I just want frogs. Is all I care about. Give me plushies. And I don't even care who joins in either. I'm not trying to find anything rare, I'm just trying to find a... I was just trying to find a plushie, but if they call out in chat that they found a plushie themselves, I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna try and catch as many as I can. And then pick them all up. It's like a... Otherwise they'll disappear and I'll miss one and it'll be like the one we really, really want. Did not mean to put that in caps. But go ahead! I have 3, we might as well try and use them. Yeah, we even got some more medals. So now I can actually... I got a walkie! I got one of them! Not a plushie, but I get to go open the chest now. Nice. Oh, Oh, I found another one. So do we find these from like hunting and stuff? Is that like how it goes? I didn't think that would be how you would do it, but you know, I'm down. If that's all I have to do, I don't mind. This one is supposed to be like the second to hardest one to get the plushie from. So I wouldn't be particularly surprised if I don't get one. Okay, let's get the last few. We should be doing weeklies right now too, so hopefully this counts, I think. We catch insects together. Not got one so far. We can kind of just do this until the market. Not the market, the underground. I keep thinking when two things pop up that that's what it is. There we go. Another one. Gotta try and catch them with these guys. And then they'll count as a weekly. Which is always great. I prefer to do weeklies when I'm not even intending to do them. I feel like it makes it so much better. They're all spawning over this side. Oh my god. It's bringing back memories, I'm not gonna lie. It's giving me flashbacks. I gotta go pick these up. Oh my god. When they all pop up like that, I'm like, Flushy? No. No Flushy. Oh, did not mean to pick that up. But it's fine. Probably gonna pick up insects on accident too. I don't know what it's called when you actually find the plushie though, that's the thing. I don't know what it says when I find one. Is it just gonna say rock hopper plushie? It's gonna be like the same thing but with plushie at the end of it? Okay, we gotta pick some up. Otherwise they're gonna disappear again. I'll stop if I find one. I will stop. I do have some self-control over the frogs now. I think the frog glitch actually taught me that. I would have a little bit of self-control. If I know that I've caught one, I can stop. I don't need 50 of them. I wouldn't be against having 50 of them, but I don't think I need 50 of them. I don't think we've caught one yet. Oh, you are not caught yet. It's kind of difficult to see which ones you've actually caught and which ones you haven't. Not gonna lie. Okay, I don't think we have one. Imagine the frog glitch happened while this happened. Like when we had the plushies, everyone would have like 50,000. Okay, we didn't get one from the first two. Which is kind of annoying, but... Oh, scared that one off. Definitely. Imagine me saying no. I do appreciate people actually asking though. I feel like no one's ever asked. When you put like a thing down, typically people don't really ask. And like, I'm not gonna say no. You know? I'm not gonna say no. Because that would be like really rude of me to be like, yeah, no, you cannot join. You imagine? But at the same time, it is kind of nice. Like, of course you can. I'm just trying to find a one plushie, girl. Like, just for one. Just one. We're not gonna let my bag break, though. That is ridiculous. Right? To, like, make my bag break. I don't need it that badly, right? I need it. I really, really need one. I don't need it bad enough to make my bag break. That would be insane. We did that once. We don't do that now. I'll pick these up along the way. My god, when two pop up every time. My god, I forgot how high of a level in insect catching I was. That is kind of insane. My god. I don't know if we're gonna get one. I don't know if we're gonna get one. I don't think we've gotten one yet. I kind of feel like it would be even more fun if when you were just hunting, it was like a random selection of which plushie you got. Not like if you hunt this thing, you get the one that looks like it, you know? I'm like, maybe you just get like a random one coordinating to that skill. I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be a popular idea. It definitely makes it easier to know what you're getting if you just hunt that particular creature, but... I'm all out, guys. Yeah, that's it. I don't think we got one. I don't think we got one. That's very annoying. Very annoying. We did it. We got a bunch of stuff, though. Oh. Why can't I send a love heart? Like, are you kidding me right now? You can't send a love heart anymore. That is craziness. In what world? Right? In like what world? Why can I not send a love heart? The text chat in this game is wild. Like, I can't send a certain coordinate in Killamore. I think. I might be in every like place, but in Killamore, when you try and send where like a flow tree is, if you put FT and then like a certain thing, it's like, yeah, you can't send that. Or you can send it, but it like blurs it out. Why? It's just a coordinate. And I think it's H8 because it sounds like hate. Really? I just want to say where the flow tree is. Madness. Okay, I think we're gonna try and go to Dermadot. And then try and see if I can get any there. We have a little bit of time until the underground opens. And then we can go and get his Zeki coins. But first, plushies. Did I make it? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. Oh, of course I didn't. Oh my god. 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 Why? What is it with the stamina in this game? You like bump into things. It's like, yeah, no. Every time it's climbing up these trees is like hell. Like I remember when they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have climbable trees. I was like, that sounds really fun. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That sounds dreadful. Wait, I just realized, where's my dog been at this whole time? Where's the doggo been? Where is the doggo been? Why do I not have him on? Hello? There he is. I thought I had him the whole time. Turns out I was wrong. We had the PALIA instead. Which is fine. Like, I have nothing against the PALIA. I want to see my new friend. You know? We have... How many hours do we have right now? It's... When does the market open? Not the market, the underground. I have no idea what time it comes... Like, opens. Not gonna lie, this new UI situation is kind of a little bit like... Oh, I got one. No, you didn't. Oh, I got one. No, you didn't. Feels like they did it on purpose. It's like a little pop-up making me think it's like a plushie when it's not. Is it even possible to find one? Look at all these. Look at all these. This is ridiculous. How many do I have to catch? This is absurd. Come here. Let me catch you. Let me catch you and give me a plushie. Plushies, please. I didn't put it in the title. Oh, I did. I put plushies question mark. Maybe I should have put plushies, please. Plushies, please might have worked. I don't think I did the right title. Alien Gods is not with me right now. I just have to run around and try and find them because right now I don't have any lures. Hoping that actually tomorrow we can find the last relic. If not, we might try and trade for it. And see if we can finish the bundle. It's only that one bundle that I need. Like, I could do it right now, but I don't have all of them with me, so I just don't want to be like, yeah, I will, but I don't remember what I have. If I don't remember what I have, I can't be like, yeah, I can, because I have this that you want. Like, I only know when we get there, and it's like, that's a little awkward. So let's go down and see what we have down here. Left it like 5-10 minutes. Did they not spawn around this bit? I don't feel like I've ever seen them spawn around there. I feel like it's just by the water. There's none there. Any around this bit? Wasn't this like a popular bit for them at one point? Or am I crazy? I feel like they... Oh, over there. Here we go. There's a couple over there. Nope. 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 Okay. There's one more. No way. Nope. A girl can dream. This one? No. Wait, what's this? I got a quest from the key. Lock and key. Oh. So I can literally just go and unlock that now. Then it's like a quest. Cool. I didn't realize it'd be a quest. I thought it would just be like, go back to where you were, like, unlock what you already found. But then again, I guess there's people that just don't look at everything. Usually I would have been one of those people. But I changed. Now I like to look at everything. And now I know where to go find it. But I think we'll leave that for another stream because I'm probably going to find the other ones too. And if I can find the other ones, that means we're going to be able to look them all at once, which is a little bit more exciting, I think. I'll try not to open them. Okay, what time does the underground open? I don't remember. I'm on the PALIA wiki still from earlier. When does it work? Underground. 6 p.m. Okay. 6 p.m. So we have like 5 minutes. Ish. I said. Okay, we'll just keep trying to find like a couple of rugs here and there and then we'll make us way there. And then we'll see if I get another plushie or not. Am I doing too good with these ones? Maybe I can actually try and get them at the grove. That seems to be a place where a lot of things like this actually spawn. Maybe I'll have more luck. Over there. Grove. Seems to be where a lot of the Ogapoo spawn. Annoyingly, I haven't actually found any of the Ogapoo ones, but maybe we'll have more luck with the rock offer. Is there any? That's the problem. Is there any here right now? Usually there's quite a lot, and I think someone is doing the rounds and there's none. Oh my god. They're not spawning. Oh, I found one. Oh. It didn't work. Nope. That's one of the whole thing. There's no more. Crazy. That is the only one. Oh no. Oh no. Let's go back to... Do we think Demodoc is actually gonna have any, like, I feel like it has to be in one place, right? Usually it's like if one place has it, another place won't. Like if they're all spawning in one place, they won't spawn anywhere else. I learned that in like last week's streams. Got to spread out a little bit. There's some here. Oh, you're not the right one, but like, sure. You'll do. I just want one. I don't mind which one it is. No. 37 essence though, that's kind of crazy. I couldn't see it then. Hiding. 38 essence, that's crazy. Okay, we need to build the essence back up actually, because we don't have too much. And I feel like I need it now more than I did before. I kind of wish I didn't spend it on anything like silly like I did. I haven't even used the stuff I spent it on, which I find kind of funny. Any of the stuff I spent it on, I haven't even used, so it was kind of useless to spend it at all. Maybe I should have kept it. But I'm a little bit annoyed that that door does not open still. You know, like the door is still kind of useless. I mean, I say the door, there's no door there. There's not actually a door. So I guess you can't really call it a door. But the like walkway situation, it hasn't even updated. That's the one thing I want them to do with the update, was like give us the chance to go through. Nope. Nope, annoyingly. Oh, I can't throw. Nope. Oh my god, I'm not getting a look. Does this mean we're gonna get like a good plushie or something from the Zeki coins instead? Hopefully. Hopefully that's what this means, because otherwise, no plushies for me. There's not many around. I feel like to really do it, you kind of have to have like 10 to 15 honeyless. Otherwise, it just doesn't really work. Doesn't really work that well. But that's okay. We have about a minute. Not a minute. What am I saying a minute? We have about 4 minutes. And then we can go buy the Zeki coins instead. We will get a plushie one way or the other. I'll make sure of it. Might have to buy an extra Zeki coin at the end just to make sure I buy enough, but we'll see. Is there any around here? Was that one? Or was that like an insect instead? Give me one. Just one. I'm not even asking for like the best one or anything. Just like the easiest one. Boo. Oh my god. You scared me. How you doing? How are you doing? Frog plushies. Oh my god. They don't exist. I swear, they don't exist. Look at all these frogs. They don't exist. What is going on over here? What is this? Oh, on his book. Okay. I was like, oh, something new? Not too bad, just being lazy. Love being lazy. Love it. How is your game going though? Have you played? Because they did say that it was a thing that they knew about, but they said it too late. Have you just not been playing still? I saw you were live the other day, but I didn't see what you were playing. Ooh, I'm getting hungry at the right time. Annoying part is I think I'm gonna have pasta and that's gonna take like 15-20 minutes to make. I don't know. I logged in yesterday and played a bit of PALIA. Nice. You're not like too beat up over it anymore. It still sucks, but it sucks less knowing that people are also dealing with it too. That's what I feel like it feels a little bit better knowing that. Luckily, like, I don't think anything happened to my main plot, but even if it did, it wouldn't be too big of a deal. I don't think I'd have been too mad because it's one plot versus like 15. Game was crashing a lot. I haven't had any crashes all stream. The game seems to have been running fine. I restarted the game after like an hour though because we got a good glitch in one of the quests. So I've had a lot of glitching problems, just not crashes. You got 3 of them? For the life of me, I cannot find one. Cannot find one. This is gonna be the last one, and then I'm going to the underground. Oh, last 2. Gonna go buy some Zeki coins. Come on. Gonna go buy some Zeki coins. And then, yeah, we didn't get one. It's okay, we'll try again tomorrow. But we're gonna go and get some Zeki coins and see if it gives me a plush there instead. Either way, it's fine as long as I get one. You know? As long as I get one, I'll be happy. You know what? I don't even care which one it is. Just like a random plush. It could be the ugliest plush ever. I just want one. I've been taken in by the plushy stuff. Like, I never really didn't care, but I also didn't not care too much. Like, I was kind of just like, oh, plushie's cute, but I didn't care too much about collecting them, and now I think I'm obsessed. It took about 8 lures to get them, but also 4 party others. I got 3 lures, and it didn't give me anything. But we can try tomorrow, and we'll see if anyone wants to join. We'll see. I probably will only be able to buy 1 or 2 lures. We might be able to make them. We'll see. Where we're going. Dilemma. We'll see. See you tomorrow. I think we've done like the main quest from the update, so we don't have to do that now. But then we need to find these keys. We found 1. So we need the other 3, I think there is. So we can kind of go between doing that tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe we'll just spend all stream tomorrow just doing the frogs. Every time I say we're going to do frogs and then we're going to do something else at the same time, we just don't. We just do the frogs. I think I've still got 30 honey layers. 30 of them. I used all of mine from the free update. All of them. I'm not even going to lie. I had like, probably like 30 of them. Probably had a good 30 of them and I just used them. We went crazy and we bought them and then we also like made them and I just like, I had so many of them. Used them all. Used them all with the frogs. I do need to start stocking up on stuff. Once we've done more stuff from this update, we'll start stocking up on things between this and the next update. Because we need to start doing that again. That was what I was doing for a long time and I didn't need to anymore, but now I do. Oh, might have been crafted since the update from the gathering the gold. Really? I haven't been doing too much gold honey and that's the problem. I should start doing that again. We'll probably do that from like next week. We'll see. I think we have to buy 15. The numbers are scaring me though. The numbers are scaring me. Okay. Wait, what else is there? Do I need any of these? That's kind of cute. Yeah, I don't need them. Kind of like this. I don't think I've seen this before. Manifesting 1 million plushies. Oh, I don't know what I should do. I don't know if I want to play hot pot or not. I don't think I do. And there isn't a table just like open, I don't think. Maybe there is. Maybe I should. We'll play a little bit. We'll play a little bit of hot pot. Maybe just like a game or two. And then we'll open them. Because it always tends to work better if I do that. I don't know why, but usually if I just kind of like leave it a little bit before I open them, it gives me better luck. I think I need to buy 15, even though I open a plushie after the 10, just after the 10. But it seems to work. So I feel like if I do it any other way around, it's not gonna work. Become a habit. There's so many new games coming out. You get notifications about them. That looks so cute. Okay, I need to watch that. I need to watch that after stream. It looks so cute. I actually didn't even... I don't know if Next Fest is still on, but I don't think I actually have played any of them yet. Any of the demos. I feel like I've stopped signing up for like playtests and I've stopped playing demos before games come out just because I actually want to experience the game firsthand. Rather than being like, oh, I don't think I'll like this. What if I don't like it? Like if I don't like a game or like, I don't even... Tony. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. Is everyone's subs run out today? Is that what happened? Hi. How's your weekend been? I hope your day's been well. You're distracting me. I'm making the roll wait really long. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love coming back from like a little break from streaming. I say a little break. We didn't take a proper break. But it classes as a break. Right? Like classes as a break when I don't stream for like 4 days. Mondays are always great. Well, it depends on how you define good. Ooh. Has it not been a great day? Hopefully if it hasn't been, then your day gets better. My day was kind of like this, and then it just kind of went like that, so... You know? If the game would give me a plushie, it would be a better day. But I did have a good weekend. I was out all day on Saturday, and I got a tan. I don't look like I did, but I did. I can't even show it on stream. I have a tan line underneath my watch. And the stream will not show it to you guys. It's like, no, she didn't. She didn't go outside. She's lying. I was honestly out the house from like 11 until like 8. Which is insane for me, though. But my camera doesn't want to show the proof. Got a lot of jobs done, but they give my mom weeks rather than months. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. all comes to us in the end. Unfortunately, yeah, but hopefully everything goes peaceful and hopefully you guys are all okay. Thank you for being here, though. Thank you for being here. You don't need to be here, but thank you for actually being here, though. Hotpot spam pot. I honestly, if you guys ever want to play spam pot, I'm down. Because I never want to be like, anyone want to play spam pot? I feel like nobody wants to. I feel like no one wants to play it. I don't know why. I feel like people like to just sit here and not really think about it. They want to like chill with it, but I'm like, no, just spam my spacebar. Spam the spacebar. I think I played spam pot once. But like right now, I'm not doing too good. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I needed the distraction burst, but you're a good distraction. I guess that's a good thing. I guess that's a good thing. We're going to play a little bit of Hot Pot, and I'm opening the Zeki coins, and then we're going to probably raid into someone. I'm not sure who's live right now. I think we might raid into someone. Yeah, maybe. I am super hungry though. Oh, Oakling is still live. That is crazy. They got live for so long. I respect people that can stream for hours. One eye, in fact, same. I got the second to last one. I forgot to hand it in. We'll do that tomorrow. I need one. I think it's ancient statue one or something like that. We got the machine 3 today, which is great. Absolutely great. So we're nearly there. We're nearly there. If I have anything you need, I can try and trade you tomorrow. If you're here. I think I got one more that I don't need today, so I got one I needed, one I didn't. So hopefully tomorrow we can finish it, and then I think we're gonna go plushie hunting for frogs. Can you check what you need? I think it's just... I needed machine and statue, I think, and I think it was machine 3 that I got today, and I think it's statue 1 that I needed to. Oh my god, I'm not doing good at this right now. I think it's because I'm hungry. I'm so distracted by the food that I'm like not paying attention to which one I need. Nope. Not giving me any of them. This might be the last one I do because I can't concentrate. I'm so hungry. Although it's making me want noodles and I think I'm having pasta. It's throwing it off. Throw me off. I think I have almost one of every one except for the one I need, which is extremely annoying. Yeah, I think this might be the last game. I'm getting a bit of a headache again. I have artifacts trade too as I've been collecting even though I'm done. Yeah, I'll definitely do it tomorrow, honestly. I need sword 2. Ooh. I think that might be the one I don't have. That might be the one I don't actually have. I can check after this game though, because this is the last one I'm playing. But I don't think I have that one. That might be one of the other ones I don't have. Because I don't feel like I've heard of that. Which, if I haven't heard of it, it means someone else gave it to me. I instantly traded it in the like bundle, and that's it. That's the only time I saw it. I might have that one. Yeah. Oh, I didn't win. I didn't win. Let's go to the prize wheel. And then we can open the coins and things. Is that it? Yep. Really? Really? Okay. Let's open this, even though we don't need it. And then we'll open the Zeki coins. Let's see which one I get. Okay. That's not a plushie, right? Hello, friend. I see you. Okay. I don't want these. I don't want these. Pretty sure you did the same as me. I don't know if it was sword. I think it was statue. Let's check. It's this one. Statue 1. Yeah, I don't think I have this. I think I have this and then some of these. And then I think I have like 3 of these and like 1 of them and like a couple of the other ones. Like, I don't think I have the sword. I don't know if we're getting one. I don't think we're gonna get one today. I can't even see it. It's not showing up on the screen. It's not showing up on the screen. That's very annoying. Glowworm. Rice. More rice. I got another stink. I don't need another stink. Gold bar. We have 2 left. Oh my god. No, we have 1 left and I haven't got one. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. We didn't get any. Now I feel like I have to buy more. How did you see what you needed? They added it in the last update. If you go to the Elderwood tab, it gives you the artifacts tab. And it shows you like what you need to equal the thing. So if you complete it, it says you've completed it. If not, it'll give you like, you can't see the one that I need, but it's like one of them won't be ticked. So yeah, I didn't get a plush. We didn't get a plush. We've just broken the record. Like, I had a long-standing record at this point. Every stream for the last like week, last week and the week before, I think nearly, we had like a plush every stream. Which is it you needed again? The statue 1, I think. Plus frogs plushies to kids. If only. If only. We'll get them tomorrow. We're gonna try and do that tomorrow. I think. Let's sell these frogs. I don't need all these frogs. So many frogs. And then we'll just like put all this in here. I've got 1. You've got 2 and 3. It's always like the ones that you don't need that people have. Okay. We got nothing today, but it's okay. It's okay. Everything is just fine. Oh, let me snooze the ad. Okay. Thumbnail. Again. So that I can open this up. Yeah, I feel like every time like someone says like, oh, which one do you need? It's like, oh, I have this one, I have that one. I'm like, damn it. We'll see tomorrow though. If anyone needs any tomorrow and I have it, we can trade. We'll do that at some point. Okay. Who am I raiding into? Wait. Okay, I thought I was gonna start speaking. That would have made me jump. Oh my god. I know Mole starts in a minute. Do we wait? Do we send you guys in there and I like dip? Do I just raid and dip? Raid and run? Oh, wait, does she stream on Mondays? I'm not sure. We can wait and see. If not, I could send you into... Is it Sailors? I don't know her name. I've been reading it as Say Less in my head. Doesn't look like... Maybe... Let's see if she has a scheduled stream. I don't think she does. Do we go into her stream? She's doing a charity stream right now. Let's see. Need to unmute that. Mute it on the stream. Mute. Playing PALIA. We're doing a charity stream. I'll send you guys into a stream. I can copy the name. I'll follow, but I'll be going to nerd it. Okay. Appreciate it anyway. I'll probably have to like raid and run, but yeah. So charity stream. Send you guys in there. We did that with oh, what was the name? I can't remember her name. We did that in one of the streams a couple of weeks back. I actually had to stick around because it was dogs and cats. They were so cute. But I'll send you guys into there. I should be live tomorrow. There's no reason why I shouldn't be. Yeah, sorry I missed your stream. At least I got to say hi and saw it. So I appreciate it so much. I really do. I should be live tomorrow though. If you're here, hopefully I see you. But yeah, thank you guys for the subs today. I do appreciate it though. Say hi and bye to you. I will do. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope the world treats you well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.